Hola YouTube. Digan hola YouTube. No quiero subir a YouTube. Ojalá no sea de terror. Estoy en un... ¿Cómo se llaman estas cosas? Como un... ferry. Eso, un ferry. Muchas de estas cosas no van a tener ningún sentido para ti. Lo siento. Empezaré por el principio, por mi casa. Viví aquí hasta los 11 años. Ya, tengo que volver a mi casa. Uy.
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
Alguien había puesto una cerca de alambre.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
Se perdió mi hermano. ¿Ya? Ay, con esto puedo hacer zoom. ¿Correr puedo? No, con esto también hago zoom. Con esto... Ah, con todos los botones hago zoom.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Ok. ¡Ay, una cosita chiquitita! Hay un...
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
7 años.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
Ay, el hermano de Lewis falleció. ¿El que se perdió? ¿Dónde está la rana?
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked.
Ok.
Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
¿Mi mamá igual murió? Sí, me dijo que en un testamento me dejó la llave. Se murió mi hermano, Lewis. Se perdió un hermano
No one had driven this way
pequeño.
in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Y mi madre falleció. Eso me está diciendo el juego. ¡Uy! No me acuerdo cómo se llama. De miedo. ¿Sabes que no vi nada? Pero parece que sí.
I never thought I'd come back to it.
Después de heredar la casa.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Uy. What the fuck? La media
casa. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
What? Mi casa, tío. No, ahí está mi hermano.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Igual tiene hartas piezas.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Ay. Ay.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Ay. Ay, no. Ay. ¿Cómo la abro? Ah.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Vamos a ver si se puede entrar para atrás. Me gustan esas flores. En mi casa habían. Son bonitas. Y yo las apretaba. Cuando estaban así, le hacía ¡pum! Y sonaban. Y después mi abuela me retaba. No, pero soy enana.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Soy pequeñísima. What the fuck?
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Es canon. Ahí se ve bonito el juego. Me gusta. Tengo que ir a darle a luz.
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But
La
instead of a family,
cocina.
there were just memories of one.
Oh, falleció toda mi familia. Oh. Qué triste.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Or
¿Qué
how
está?
only one restaurant would deliver to our house. So we had Chinese a lot.
Oh, la media cocina, what the fuck.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it. Like a smile
sí.
with too many teeth.
¡Oh, qué linda esta pieza! ¡Oh! Yo quiero algo así en mi casa. Dios. Mira esa vista. What the fuck.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
¿Y por qué no fuimos?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Ah, este es el donde entré. Ok. Sumo que hay que subir. Me gusta esto. Me gusta. A mi abuela le gustan los platos con diseño. Yo creo que por eso a mí me gustan mucho las tazas, weón.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Bárbara Finch.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Ok. ¿Y esto? Está selladísima. What the fuck?
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Ya, éramos 3 hermanos entonces.
After Milton
Milton
disappeared, Mom sealed up all
desapareció
the
cuando
bedrooms.
tenía 4.
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Después Lewis, que se murió. Oye, que igual está cerrado. Qué
Edie's
nete.
father Odin built the original house.
¿Y quién es Eddie?
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Bárbara Finch. Oye, tenían hartos libros, what the fuck. Ay, igual está sellado. Ah, miren. Eddie. 1917-2010. Calvin.
My
¡Uy!
grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
Oh, puedo mirar hacia adentro. A ver.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
¿Por qué el baño tiene una cosa para mirar? Rarete.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Dudos, bastante dudos. Ya sabía que se podía mirar por los cosos. A ver. Oye, está abierta. Molly.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could
No.
imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
Tenía un hámster. Ah. Le gustaban los hámsters.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Ah, mi mamá siguió todo. Okay.
Louis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Okay.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
¿Qué? De la nada.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Un juego de té.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
O sea, que esto me gusta caleta. Yo tendría en mi casa
Reading
esto.
this, maybe
Ay.
it sounds like I had a plan.
¿A leer esto? ¿Qué cosa? ¿Leer qué? Me gusta. Entre la luz, bonito.
But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Este es lo del
Just like I
hámster.
had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Ay. Ay. ¿O no?
I grew
sí.
up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
A ver.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Tenía... Dios mío, weón.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
No estoy entendiendo mucho la historia de mi familia. En verdad.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Como medio complicado.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Ya, y ahora soy... ¡de ratones! Y yo no te voy a dar comida. Lamentablemente. Lo siento mucho.
My Halloween candy was all gone.
Justo te dio el favorito. Ay, sí.
I kept eating and eating.
Me comí la pasta de dientes.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Y una decoración. Ah, pero estaba cagadísima de hambre.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
¿Ah? ¿Qué acaba de pasar? ¿Aló?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Concha tu madre. Se me perdió el pájaro. Hasta allá.
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind.
¿Eh?
Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
¿Qué? ¿Por qué me estoy transformando en animales? No entiendo este juego.
Rabbits.
Ahora te cumple. What the fuck? ¡Un conejo! Oh, cómo me gustan los conejos. ¡Ay, no!
I imagined his face
No.
looking up and seeing mine
¡No,
through my talons.
conejito!
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
¡Ay, me dio mucha pena! Dios, ¿por qué?
A mama rabbit.
No, basta. ¡Ay!
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
¿Qué? La niña está toda drogada, weón. ¡Ay! ¿De qué me voy a morir, po? ¡Ay! 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 ¡Ay!
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy soup.
No, una foca, weón.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
¡Ay! ¡Ay! Oye, complicado manejar el tiburón. ¿Y la foca? Lo perdí. Ah, está ahí. Es que están los controles invertidos.
I grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Ya. ¿Qué era ahora? Una serpiente.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Ah, era un monstruo. Ay, cómo suena la wea.
was big, but I moved real quiet.
¡Ay! ¡Ay! Pero me estoy comiendo todo. ¿De la nada?
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
No entiendo, weón. ¿Qué está pasando?
After the last passenger, I was still hungry.
Todavía tenía hambre.
Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
¿Qué? ¿El gris? No, creo que no. ¡Qué asco!
I got closer and closer.
Ay, volví a mi pieza. Me voy a comer a los ratones. No quiero comerme a los ratones. No los quiero ni ver.
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What the fuck? ¿Qué acaba de pasar? ¿Aló?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Esta es mi familia. Lewis, Milton, Edith. Edith soy yo. Y los otros son mi hermano. Ay, Dios, son muy grande la familia. Ay. ¿Son un gato? ¡Un gato! Hola, New.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house.
Ay,
hoping
se
to leave
llevó
the
su
curse
casa.
behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
What the fuck?
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Ya, ay.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
¿Quién
Louis
es ese?
died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him.
Ay, qué linda pinta en madera.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Estas fueron todas las mascotas que tuvo. Una rana.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
¿Qué es eso?
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
Como bastante extraña mi
Even
familia.
in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Una rana.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Otro. What the fuck?
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
¿Qué? ¿Qué? Esto para
Sven gave
revelar
Sam an old camera he'd
fotos.
refurbished. He never put it down.
Ay, qué incómodo estar aquí. ¿Y por qué la entrada es por el baño?
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
¿Eh?
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming! But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Ay, Dios.
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Me estoy mareando.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
Güey, me está dando pánico
maybe
esto.
he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
¿Qué?
Calvin's
Se
story felt
mató.
strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
¿Vieron cuando se tiró? Había algo en el mar.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Juégalo otra vez. Está lleno de secretos esta casa, what the fuck.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
¿No puedo volver a entrar? Ah, sí, sí puedo. ¡Ay! ¿Por qué hay un mono?
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Me asusté.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
¿Después de qué? Oh.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed.
Okay.
Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Ay.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned.
Ay, no.
So Barbara went to look for him. right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Ay, qué fucking miedo, loco.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Ay, no quiero jugar más.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear.
Ay, imbécil.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Sí, estoy
Then
enojada.
act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah!
Eh?
Hey, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
¿Eh? Tan, tara, tara, tan, tan. ¡Ay! ¡Sube más rápido!
Walter, are you there? Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
¡Ay, no!
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And whoever he was, he couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Oye, ¿y mi hermano? ¿Aló?
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
¡Ay, por dónde salgo! ¿Aló? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué hago? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Ay, Dios. Está todo para que encerrado.
Molly's
Ah, tengo que salir.
hadn't been opened
Pero...
for years. The hinges groaned.
¡Pum!
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
¿Y mi hermano?
was breathing, but all she heard was...
Ding dong. Ay.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Vaya.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom.
Y estuvo
But
magnífica.
unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on
Que dio el mejor
Rick.
grito de su carrera.
Disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
What the fuck?
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Okay.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Y bueno. Ahí está como medio oscurito. Hoy vamos a tener que ir al sótano. Me encantaría poder darle luz, la verdad.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Ay,
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
¿qué? Esta wea. Ay, necesito una linterna.
I remember asking Mom once
hay
about where
luces.
Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Ay,
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Walter.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
30 años.
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week.
¡Concha tu madre! Espérense. ¡Ay, Dios! Weón, tenía una araña en la mano. Ay, ¿dónde se metió? No está la araña. ¿Aló? Oh, weón, qué fucking susto. No está. Araña. ¿Aló? Concha tu madre, weón. Weón, miré para abajo y la tenía en el brazo. Me asusté, perdón. Estoy bien, estoy bien. Sigamos.
But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane.
Hoy no se termina más de abrir la wea.
Having a schedule, living for today.
Ay, por fin. No.
I always
Me
expected
asusté
to
harto.
be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Ay, todos los días lo mismo. Dios.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that
Mira cómo
thing
tengo la
was,
piel.
it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Okay. Ah. Más abajo. Huh?
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin.
Ay.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Ay.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here. I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
Y bueno, estaba como media dudosa la historia. Algo muy raro está pasando aquí.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Ay.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was
Quizás
time I
dos.
heard the stories for myself.
¿Qué
And
otra?
found out what
¿Mi
happened
hermano?
to everyone else.
¿El que desapareció?
But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Miren, eso es lo que vi cuando voló el otro.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Volaba, o sea,
But I thought you should know about
Sí.
your family.
estoy como medio perdido. No eres el
And the
único.
history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Estamos conociendo la historia de cada uno de los integrantes de mi familia. Porque mi mamá no me dejaba.
And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
Y la historia de cada uno está bastante turbia.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Claro. Al rarete.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly. Ah. Molly es la de los ratones. Calvin, el que quería volar. Que tenía un gemelo, po. Este. El papá de Bárbara. Creo. Y ella era la que pintaba los cuadros. Y Walter era el que estaba... No, ¿cuál era Walter? Ah, el que estaba abajo, po. Y estos eran hermanos. Y esta era la que gritaba. Y este era el niñito que estaba cuidando. Y después la muerte de ella se fue abajo de la casa.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Y este...
You'd see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Es el que se trajo a la casa y se murió. No veo nada.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house.
Ah, ahí
every
está
night.
la casa, era la casa. Pensé que era un monstruo. Era la casa que él se trajo. Pálida.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Y aquí ya no entiendo quién es quién.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
Claro.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
A mí se me ocurre igual, po. Van a ir así. Mira dónde ando metida. What the fuck?
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Ay.
They were both pretty intense.
Sam. Es la misma foto que está en la otra pieza. Ay. Agárrala, po.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Ay.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
¿Dónde está? Oh. No enfoca más.
Aw.
Oh. ¿Es de terror? Más o menos.
I've drunk all that coffee.
De verdad.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
I definitely won't be moving. Hey!
That's a keeper.
Nothing quite like being outside. I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Dawn, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Oh. Ay, tengo mucha ganas de comprarme una cámara.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn!
Oh. Pero weón, yo quería sacarle una foto que se vea bonito.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
No quiero una cámara digital.
Sorry, Dawn. Just gotta reset the timer.
Está llorando caleta.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Ay, cabrón. Concha tu madre, si se murió.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Oh. Pálida. Hola, Nini. Aquí hay una entrada.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Sam había estado coso, ¿ok? Ok. Ay, Dios. ¿Qué cosa? ¿Quieres preguntar? Tengo mucho frío, demasiado frío. Estaba poniendo una mantita.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
¿Por qué se mueve al mismo tiempo? Charlie.
Bath time's over,
Ay.
Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Una ballena.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
¡Ay!
I wonder what he saw.
Sale, pato. Ahí tengo la perspectiva en el... Calvin. ¿Calvin? Ah, el que quería ser astronauta, más o menos.
Whatever it was, he saw.
¡Oh! Ay, qué voló. Exacto.
It sure made him happy.
¡Ay! Está al revés. Ahí sí. ¡Ay, no! Ahí sí. Tan, tararara. Pum. Maneja los juguetes y la rana. ¡Ay! Oh. Miren, caleta. Tarán, tarán. ¡Pum! ¡Ay! Ahí está.
But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did.
Aww.
Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it.
Oye, señora, sáqueme de la ducha, me voy a enfermar.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Me voy a ahogar. Maldita sea.
Hey, there's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything.
Para eso pedí el divorcio, po.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Qué triste, weón.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I remember.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh!
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power, but all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Ay.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
No entendí esta. Esta historia no...
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
No lo entendí. Me llevó el cosito, ¿no? Me llevó el viento. ¿O no?
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Ah!
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Estos eran los hermanos de mi mamá.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay. My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal, but it didn't last.
Ay, Dios.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Claro, este no tiene fecha porque desapareció solamente.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Ay, qué bonito lugar para pintar, sí, me gusta.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
¿Cómo lo...? Oh. Una de mis hermanos.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared. Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Se perdió en el 2003.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
¡Ay!
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone else told me to stay out of Louis's room. Except Louis.
Claro, este era el... Uy. El distinto de la familia. Era VTuber. Este era el streamer.
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Digo que era malo.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
Ay, por arriba no era.
Then something moved. Bats.
Oh.
And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused.
Está complicado jugar el de la izquierda
Like a whole
jugando
new
el de la
Lewis.
derecha.
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Un perrito.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Ay.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play.
Ay.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Ay, gané.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
Ah, disociando a Har. ¡Ay!
Minneapolis, until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
¡Ay! ¡No puedo agarrar el pescado! No sé por qué no me dejaba.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a
Una apuesta reina.
handsome queen.
Ay.
queen was on her own quest for...
Arcoiris.
Radiant rainbows.
¡Ay, los pescados de mierda! ¡Ay! ¡Ay!
He followed the sound of her silver harp.
¡Ay, Dios! Ni que se quedan atascados ahí los pescados.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon.
Míralo. Ay, sí.
Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh!
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
¿Ah? ¿Aló? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? ¿Voy hacia allá? Así.
I still thought I could save him.
Así.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
Ah!
The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend on his head.
¡Oh! ¡Dios! ¡Que le corten la cabeza!
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Pero weón, ¿cómo llegó a eso?
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him. He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch. On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Ay, esta es mi pieza.
But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Oye, la de ir al baño o imagínate hay un terremoto, ni por si acaso. No, pues sube. Poco funcional la casa. No, ahí está mi bota. ¿Cuántas semanas tenía? 22, ¿o no?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance, or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
La noche en que nací.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Ahí sí, no se ve nada.
I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Ay.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Yo creo.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go!
Ay, Dios.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edith again.
No. Ciao.
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this.
Ay, yo soy la guagua.
Maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes.
Oh no?
And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Huh? Gee.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Weón. Yo era el bebé todo este tiempo. Pero ya no soy un bebé. Oh. ¿Saben? Estuvo extraño, pero muy interesante. Como que las historias eran raras, pero te daban ganas de saber qué estaba pasando en realidad. Todo God. Sí me gustó. Todo entretenido. Hubo un momento en que no entendía nada. Pero muy interesante. ¿Dónde quedó el weón que salía a comer durazno? Lo atropelló un tren. Se fue y dijo que esperaba vivir si fuera un año, una semana o simplemente un día, igual así. Y pasó un tren y lo atropelló. La historia de Anita, que era actriz, igual fue rara. La otra que se convertía en gato. Es historia diferente. Sí, pues era la historia de todos los miembros de la familia. ¿Qué le pasó a Edith? No se sabía. Creo que no se supo qué le pasó. Porque, tipo, se fueron con la mamá. Y la mamá se enfermó. Y la mamá falleció. Y ahí no caché qué más. Y al final la historia la contaba la Edith, pero escrita. Y el que la estaba leyendo era el hijo. Murió en el parto. Ah, tiene sentido igual. Tiene sentido. ¿Por qué la mamá no quería que la abuela contara la historia? Yo creo que por lo turbio que podía llegar a ser. Porque al final la familia tenía una maldición. Todos fallecían por una u otra razón que no era natural. Entonces siempre le pasaba algo muy extraño. Yo creo que por eso. No, la de Lewis fue muy triste. Na. God. Buen jueguito, me gustó.